Gender expression has always been a multifaceted and challenging concept to pin down, particularly when examining historical figures. The narratives of mainstream history often overlook the presence of transgender and non-binary individuals. Yet these identities have been a part of human societies for ages, even in cultures where they faced non-acceptance. Across history, from those who were open about their gender identity to those who maintained secrecy, transgender individuals have left indelible marks on our past, forging pathways for future generations to follow. Let's delve into 21 historical figures whose transgender identities might surprise you. Chevalier Deon. Born in 1728, the Chevalier Deon was a French diplomat and spy whose life story is cloaked in enigma and allure. In the initial part of his life, Deon presented as male. However, following an enigmatic series of events, Deon began to present as female at Queen Elizabeth's court, asserting a female identity from birth and seeking recognition as such from the French monarchy. Despite a posthumous examination revealing a male assignment at birth, Deon's fluid expression of gender garnered such notoriety that the term Eonism emerged to denote individuals who display transgender or gender-fluid traits. The Chevalier Deon was not merely a figure etched into the annals of history, but a veritable legend, enshrouded in mystery and fascination. From a storied career as a spy and diplomat to a revolutionary shift into a gender non-conforming trailblazer, Deon's existence was anything but conventional. Deon's societal influence was monumental, leaving a legacy that has persistently inspired and captivated people even into the modern era. Michael Dillon. Born as Laura Maud Dillon in 1915, Michael Dillon would break new ground as the first transgender man to undergo phalloplasty, a pioneering surgical process that formed a penis and attached it to his body. However, Dillon's impact on the transgender community extended beyond his medical journey. He authored the seminal text, Self, a study in endocrinology and ethics, heralded as the first book to address transgender identity and the transition process. Dillon posited the inherent nature of transgender identity, arguing against the notion that it could be cured with psychotherapy and advocating for hormone treatments and surgical intervention. Dillon's pioneering efforts provided a beacon for many, including Roberta Cowell, the first British trans woman to have sex reassignment surgery, whose procedure Dillon played a role in facilitating. Albert Cashier. Introducing Albert Cashier, a Civil War hero who transcended the era's strict gender norms. Born Jenny Irene Hodgers, Cashier early on discerned a personal truth divergent from societal expectations and adopted a male presentation to secure employment. Yet this act was merely the prologue to an extraordinary tale. As a Union Army soldier, Cashier valiantly engaged in approximately 40 battles and in a remarkable display of bravery, single-handedly subdued a prison guard to escape and return to his division. Despite confronting discrimination and hostility, Cashier's resolve never wavered in his commitment to serve his nation. Jeanne d'Arc. The identity and sexuality of the renowned French crusader known as Jeanne d'Arc, or Joan of Arc, have been the subjects of much speculation and debate. Despite her deep Christian faith, Joan defied the norms by rejecting the customary attire and hairstyles expected of women in her era, leading to significant controversy and accusations of heresy. The exact motivations behind Joan's choice of clothing remain a mystery to modern historians, but her steadfast adherence to her attire has raised numerous questions. When confronted by her critics, Joan's response was that she would not don women's clothing until it pleased God. Leslie Feinberg, a notable transgender author, postulates in Transgender Warriors, Making History from Joan of Arc to Dennis Rodman, that Joan may be viewed as an early transgender warrior. Lucy Hicks Anderson. Lucy Hicks Anderson, born Tobias Lawson, was a remarkable woman who defied the social conventions of the late 19th century. Married twice and identifying as a woman, Anderson faced legal repercussions when the government penalized and incarcerated her under allegations of fraud, claiming she wrongfully received marital benefits designated for opposite-sex couples while they considered her biologically male. Facing these accusations, Anderson boldly confronted the authorities, declaring, "I defy any doctor in the world to prove that I am not a woman. I have lived, dressed, acted just what I am, a woman." Her stand for her identity predates the Stonewall riots, making Anderson a pioneer in the fight for marriage equality. Her relentless bravery and dedication to living authentically position her as an enduring figure of empowerment for future generations. Sylvia Rivera. Sylvia Rivera was a formidable advocate for transgender rights, particularly in the aftermath of the pivotal Stonewall riots of 1969. As a founding figure in the movement for LGBTQ+ liberation, she stood in solidarity with her close friend Marsha P Johnson at the forefront of the struggle. Rivera was a tenacious and passionate activist who dedicated her life to advancing civil rights. Her activism extended beyond LGBTQ+ causes, including efforts to support African American communities and involvement in the second wave feminist movement. Her relentless pursuit of social justice and equality was a powerful reflection of her incredible resilience and bravery, inspiring a legion of individuals to advocate for their rights and the rights of others. Elba. Elba was a groundbreaking figure in Denmark during the late 19th and early 20th centuries. A transgender woman, she also identified as a lesbian, a particularly complex identity for her time. During her university years, she encountered Gerda Wegener, who would become her partner, and later, her wife. Together, they embarked on artistic careers in Paris. Elba's profound journey of self-discovery was set in motion when she began modeling for Gerda's paintings, substituting for absent female models. To her own surprise, Elba found a profound comfort and authenticity wearing women's clothing, which led her to embrace her true identity as a woman. Gerda's artwork, featuring elegant women in vogue attire, gained acclaim in Parisian society, unbeknownst to many that the muse behind these works was none other than Elba, Gerda's talented and inspirational spouse. Marsha P Johnson. Marsha P Johnson stood as an iconic and tenacious advocate for transgender rights. Alongside Sylvia Rivera, her close companion, she co-founded the influential organization Street Transvestite Action Revolutionaries, STAR, which played a pivotal role in combating systemic biases and championing the rights of the disenfranchised following the Stonewall Uprising. Johnson's indomitable spirit and steadfast resolve were encapsulated in her response to a judge who inquired about the P in her name. With characteristic poise, she replied, "Pay it no mind." This phrase would not only become her trademark reply, but also a symbol of her defiance against societal attempts to constrain her identity. Her remarkable legacy was celebrated in the 2012 documentary, Pay It No Mind, The Life and Times of Marsha P Johnson. Harry Allen. Harry Allen was a compelling character in the early American West, known for his defiance of societal norms. As a transgender man who was assigned female at birth, Allen openly embraced his male identity, a revolutionary act in an era where such authenticity was often viewed as scandalous. His confrontations with the law over various misdemeanors, fistfights, public inebriation, and occasional charges of prostitution were frequent. Media coverage at the time sensationalized his life, further complicating his existence by branding him a deviant. Despite facing relentless scrutiny and discrimination, Allen remained resolute. Tragically, the relentless pressure and marginalization led to his untimely death by suicide at the age of 40. Wilmer Little Ax Broadnax. Little Ax Broadnax made his mark in the world of gospel music with a voice that belied his small frame. The Houston-born singer's dynamic vocal prowess found a home with several gospel groups over the years, including the celebrated Five Blind Boys of Mississippi, the Southern Gospel Singers, and the Golden Echoes. Broadnax's illustrious career in music continued into his 70s, showcasing an enduring passion and energy for performance. It was only after his death that a startling revelation emerged. Broadnax had been assigned female at birth, a detail of his personal history that he had kept private. In the face of societal challenges, Broadnax never allowed anything to deter him from his love for music. His commitment to his art and his ability to inspire remain influential to this day. Renee Richards. Renee Richards became a household name in 1976 when she challenged the exclusionary practices of the U.S. Open tennis tournament, which sought to bar her from competition due to her transgender status. Unwilling to accept this discrimination, Richards took her case to the New York Supreme Court. After a protracted and strenuous legal battle, she won, establishing a historic precedent for transgender rights. This victory marked her as a symbol of resilience and a vocal proponent for the transgender community, encouraging others to assert their rights and strive for equality. Jorgenson. Christine Jorgenson, born in 1926, entered the annals of history as one of the first Americans to undergo gender reassignment surgery. Although not the first to have such surgery, Jorgenson was a pioneer, becoming the most famous transgender woman in the United States at the time. She navigated her newfound public attention with poise, frequently engaging with media interviews and sparking national conversations. Her visibility ignited lively discussions and contributed to cultural discourse for years. Jorgenson's journey has been the subject of numerous books and films, including Ed Wood's cult classic, Glenn or Glenda. Elagabalus. Elagabalus, the Roman emperor who ascended to the throne as a teenager, is remembered for his extravagant and unconventional behavior. His reign was marked by boundary-pushing actions in terms of gender and sexuality, drawing comparisons to the notorious Caligula. Elagabalus challenged Rome's rigid gender norms and societal expectations, marrying both men and women and often dressing in traditionally feminine attire and cosmetics. Rumors swirled that he had offered a fortune to any physician who could surgically provide him with female genitalia, sparking debates about his gender identity and sexual orientation. Despite his contentious reign, Elagabalus managed to retain power for several years before his ultimate downfall and assassination. Today, he is a captivating historical figure who dared to defy the norms of ancient Rome. Wewa. Wewa of the Zuni tribe was a groundbreaking individual who transcended Western gender binaries. Identified as a lamana, a Zuni term for a two-spirit person, Wewa occupied a unique gender role that was recognized and respected within their cultural context. Although assigned male at birth, Wewa was often erroneously perceived as a cisgender woman by Western anthropologists, showcasing their ability to transgress societal boundaries. Wewa's life and identity have emerged as powerful emblems of the struggle against the imposition of rigid Western gender norms on indigenous cultures. Cochineal. Cochineal, a sparkling presence in the nightclub scene of the late 1950s, became a global sensation after undergoing gender reassignment surgery, making her one of the first individuals in Europe to do so. Facing intense public scrutiny and prejudice, Cochineal continued to follow her passion for music and performance, while also emerging as a staunch advocate for the transgender community. In her later years, she founded various organizations aimed at supporting transgender people, including the Center for Aid, Research, and Information for Transsexuality and Gender Identity, as well as the French association Devenir Femme. Cochineal's bravery and determination in combating discrimination laid the groundwork for future generations of transgender rights advocates. Alan L. Hart. Alan L. Hart was a trailblazing figure who made significant contributions to medicine and literature in the early 20th century. As one of the first individuals in the United States to undergo a hysterectomy as part of gender transition, Hart was a pioneer in transgender history. His work as a radiologist and medical researcher led to advancements in tuberculosis, screening through X-ray technology, saving innumerable lives. Additionally, Hart was an accomplished author, enriching the literary world with his novels and short stories. Virginia Prince. Virginia Prince was a pivotal figure in the transgender rights movement. Born in 1912, she was at the forefront of advocacy, creating critical resources for the transgender community. In 1960, Prince founded Transvestia, a pioneering publication that gave voice to transvestites, cross-dressers, and transgender individuals. She also established the Society for the Second Self, a support network for transgender people. Initially identifying as a transvestite, Prince later adopted she/her pronouns, reflecting a deeper embrace of her identity. Through the years, her activism never wavered, and she continued to champion transgender rights until her death in 2009. Prince's groundbreaking efforts have left an enduring impact, offering encouragement and support to the transgender rights movement well into the present day. Carlotta A. Brown. Carlotta A. Brown, a United States naval officer, faced an unexpected turn in her life when a routine physical in the 1950s revealed that she was intersex, possessing both male and female physical traits. This discovery propelled Brown on a journey of self-discovery and the pursuit of gender reassignment surgery. Determined to undergo the procedure, Brown planned to relocate to Denmark, where she could transition and start anew with her partner. However, her aspirations were thwarted by the U.S. government, which arrested her for cross-dressing and imposed a significant fine. Despite these setbacks, Brown's resolve to transition never faltered as she courageously fought for her right to do so. While it remains unclear if Brown ever completed her transition, the possibility exists that she may have been the first Black woman to medically transition. Brown's story is a testament to the courage it takes to fight for one's identity and personal freedom. Billy Tipton. Billy Tipton, a transgender jazz musician, carved out a successful career in the mid-20th century despite the era's prevalent discrimination. Beginning as a teenage performer, Tipton rose to prominence by the 1940s, leading his own band and captivating audiences across the Pacific Northwest with his saxophone prowess and distinctive style. While he encountered prejudice, Tipton navigated societal constraints with resilience, focusing on his musical ambitions. It was only after his passing in 1989 that Tipton's life as a transgender man became widely known. His legacy endures, honoring both his musical talent and his tenacity in the face of societal challenges. Sir Yuan Forbes, 11th Baronet. The tale of Sir Yuan Forbes, the 11th Baronet, marks a pivotal episode in transgender history. Assigned female at birth, Forbes took the decisive step to legally change his gender to male in 1952, driven by the desire to inherit his family's estate and title, rights traditionally reserved for males. Faced with opposition from a cousin who challenged the legitimacy of his gender registration, Forbes became embroiled in a legal dispute that threatened to embroil the family in scandal and public scrutiny. The matter was thus handled with utmost discretion. Despite the controversy, the court ultimately sided with Forbes, confirming his title as the 11th Baronet. This ruling was a landmark victory, not only for Forbes, but also for the broader transgender community, as it underscored the individual's right to legal recognition of gender identity. Sir Yuan Forbes's life underscores the complex struggles endured by transgender individuals in asserting their rights and identities, while also demonstrating the law's potential to validate and support transgender persons. Valerie Arkell Smith. Valerie Arkell Smith's life was akin to a tumultuous adventure, replete with dramatic shifts and unexpected turns. Known also by the name Victor Barker, Arkell Smith grappled with her identity in the politically charged atmosphere of 1920s Italy. Despite her associations with the fascist party, she embarked on a quest for self-definition, striving to live as a man in a society that was far from understanding or accepting. Her narrative was punctuated by legal confrontations, including theft, fraud, and evading court appearances, which led her to assume various aliases such as John Hill and Jeffrey Norton in a bid to elude capture and start anew. Arkell Smith's life, however, concluded in anonymity and destitution, a poignant testament to the harsh realities faced by those who defy societal expectations. The stories of these historical figures form a small but impactful part of transgender history, reflecting the profound adversities faced by the community as well as their indomitable spirit. Recognizing and learning about transgender history is a vital step in honoring those who have come before us and in forging a path toward a more inclusive and fair future. Stay tuned for more insights into the lives of those who have shaped our world in ways great and small. Thank you for engaging with this important aspect of our shared history. See you in the next exploration.